For 27 years, a football nation was frozen in time. No World Cups, no miracles, no hope. Generations grew up believing the same thing. Norway would never matter again. They produced stars. They produced talent. But when it came to the biggest stage, they always failed. Until one man arrived. A striker built like a machine, with the hunger to destroy a curse older than his career. This is the story of the 27-year curse, and how Erling Haaland finally broke it. June 23, 1998, Marseille, France. The referee blows the final whistle. Norway 2, Brazil 1. It was a miracle in Marseille. A nation of 4 million people had just beaten the defending world champions. At that moment, it felt like Norway belonged to the elite. It felt like the beginning of a dynasty. But it wasn't a beginning. It was the end. That night in Marseille was the last time Norway won a game at a World Cup. For the next 27 years, Norwegian football entered a long, cold winter. A generation of fans grew up watching World Cups on television, supporting England or Germany or Brazil, because their own nation had forgotten how to win. They missed Euro 2000. They missed 2004, 2006, 2010. The list goes on. It became a curse, a national trauma. Even when they produced world-class talent, the team would crumble. They became the nearly men of Europe. But in the lead-up to 2026, something changed. The ice didn't just melt. It shattered. This is the story of how a frozen football nation built the most terrifying attack in Europe. This is the story of the 27-year curse, and the golden generation that finally broke it. To understand the resurrection, you have to understand the collapse. For more than 2 decades, Norway suffered from an identity crisis. In the 90s, under the legendary Egil Olsen, they had a style. It wasn't pretty. Long balls, physical duels, zonal marking. But it worked. It was effective. But as modern football evolved, Norway got stuck. They tried to play possession football, but didn't have the technicians. They tried to play defensive football, but lacked the discipline. They became a middle-class team, good enough to beat the small nations, but guaranteed to lose against the giants. The lowest point came in the qualifiers for 2022. By then, the world knew the name Erling Haaland. They knew Martin Ødegaard. The pieces were there. And yet, when it mattered most, Norway froze. They lost 3-0 to Turkey at home. They scored just 1 goal in their final 4 games. They watched the Qatar World Cup from home, just like they had watched Russia, Brazil, and South Africa. The narrative was brutal. Norway is a graveyard for talent. Critics said Haaland would never play in a major tournament. They said Ødegaard was a captain without an army. The federation realized something painful. Having superstars wasn't enough. They needed a system. They needed a revolution. Enter Ståle Solbakken. When he took charge, he didn't promise miracles. He promised structure. The problem was obvious. Norway was top-heavy. They had a Ferrari engine in Haaland, but they were driving on flat tires. The defense was leaky. The midfield couldn't get the ball to the strikers. So Solbakken made a crucial decision. He stopped trying to force Norway to play like Manchester City or Arsenal. Instead, he built a hybrid system, often looking like a 4-4-2 defensively, but exploding into a direct, vertical attack. The moment they won the ball, he realized a simple truth. You don't need 70% possession. When you have the deadliest striker in human history, you just need 3 seconds of chaos. He drilled the defense to be compact, nasty, hard to beat, and then he unleashed the weapons. And let's talk about those weapons. For years, the lazy analysis was simple. Stop Haaland, and you stop Norway. That used to be true. It isn't anymore. Of course, it starts with Erling Haaland. We've run out of words for him. In the qualifying campaign, he didn't just score. He feasted. He became the all-time top scorer for his nation, shattering a record that had stood for nearly a century. He gives Norway something no tactic can provide: fear. When opposing defenders see him in the tunnel, they're already losing. But the real transformation came from the man wearing the armband, Martin Ødegaard. Ødegaard isn't just a playmaker. He is the heartbeat. Under Solbakken, he drops deeper, dictates the tempo, presses like a maniac, and feeds laser-guided passes through the lines. He is the bridge between the defense and the monster up front. And then, the X factors, the players nobody saw coming. Antonio Nusa, They call him the Norwegian Neymar for a reason. While teams are double-marking Haaland, Nusa is isolating fullbacks one-on-one and destroying them. His dribbling gave Norway a plan B. And Oscar Bob, the Manchester City technician, playing with a maturity far beyond his years. Suddenly, you couldn't just double-team Haaland, because if you did, Nusa would skip past you, Ødegaard would find a gap, or Bob would create an overload. For the first time in 30 years, Norway had a complete attack. And then it happened. Not hope, not hype, not prediction, confirmation. Across the final match day, when the numbers were checked, when the table was settled, and when the impossible was finally undeniable, Norway were qualified for the 2026 FIFA World Cup. No playoffs, no calculators, no waiting. For the first time in 27 years, the curse wasn't metaphorical anymore. It was dead. The result? Total domination. The road to 2026 wasn't a struggle. It was a procession. In a group that could have been tricky, Norway went 8-0-0. 8 wins, 0 draws, 0 losses. They scored 37 goals. They conceded 5. We saw the 11-1 demolition of Moldova, where Haaland scored 5 times in an hour. It looked like a training session, but the real statement wasn't beating the small teams. It was the matches against the traditional powers. Look at the game against Italy. In the past, Norway would have parked the bus and prayed for a 0-0 draw. Not this time. They pressed Italy high. They suffocated the midfield. They won 3-0. And frankly, it could have been 5. That was the night the continent took notice. That was the night the curse officially died. So here we are. For the first time since 1998, the Norwegian flag will fly at a World Cup. But the feeling is different this time. In 1998, they were happy to be there. In 2026, they are arriving with a purpose. They are the ultimate dark horse. Think about it. In a knockout game, do you want to face a team that sits deep, defends with discipline, and can launch a counterattack? To Haaland, Ødegaard, and Nusa? Absolutely not. The long winter is over. The snow has melted. And Norway isn't just walking the road to the 2026 World Cup. They are marching down it. What do you think? Can this golden generation reach the semifinals? Or will the pressure of the big stage be too much? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this story, make sure to subscribe to Beyond 90 Minutes. We'll see you in the next one.